Hey everyone. We all have blind spots, right? Those little or sometimes not so little things about ourselves that we don't see but everyone else does. Today, I want to talk about dullness, or what some may call ignorance or selfishness, and how it manifests in our lives. But more than that, I want to talk about 3 types of unaware people. Now, this isn't about labeling anyone. It's about understanding the different ways we experience and navigate self-awareness, or the lack thereof. Because let's be honest, none of us are immune to a little blindness now and then. Understanding these types will help us reflect deeply, either about ourselves or the people around us. It's about recognizing where we might be stuck and finding the courage to move toward greater self-awareness and ultimately, more authentic connection with ourselves and others. The first type is the person who is aware of their dullness, their shortcomings, their less than desirable traits. They know they're not perfect, and here's the kicker. They know that other people know it too. Imagine walking into a room and you've spilled coffee all over your shirt. You're acutely aware of the stain and you know everyone else sees it too. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, and you might want to disappear. That's what it's like for this first type. They live with this constant awareness of their flaws and the vulnerability of knowing that those flaws are on display. They feel exposed. But here's the thing about this type, and this is crucial. In that awareness, in that willingness to be seen, messy and imperfect as they are, lies the seed of change. See, awareness is the first step. It's that moment when the light bulb goes off, and you can no longer pretend you don't see the stain. The aware but exposed person, they're standing in the light, they're not hiding, and that's huge. Now, it doesn't mean they're happy about it. They might still feel shame, embarrassment, even a little bit defensive. But they're not in denial, they're not pretending the problem doesn't exist. And that, my friends, is where real growth begins. So, if you relate to this type, if you're that person standing in the light, feeling exposed, know this. Your willingness to see and be seen is a strength. It takes courage to own your imperfections. Don't underestimate the power of that awareness. It's the fertile ground from which real change can grow. Now, the second type of unaware person, this is where things get a little trickier. This is the person who knows, deep down, that they have their share of dull moments, selfish tendencies, or blind spots. They're aware of the flaws, but they've become masters of disguise. They've built walls, crafted masks, and perfected their performance. They believe they're fooling everyone. This is the person who thinks they're getting away with something. They think they've successfully hidden their true selves from the world. They might even tell themselves that they're protecting others by keeping their flaws under wraps. But here's the reality. Authenticity is a superpower, and people can spot a facade a mile away. The aware but hidden person lives in a state of denial. They're constantly looking over their shoulder, worried that someone might see through their carefully constructed facade. This fear of exposure keeps them stuck. They avoid vulnerability, resist feedback, and miss out on opportunities for growth. The thing is, living a life of pretense is exhausting. It takes an incredible amount of energy to keep up the charade, and it prevents us from experiencing the joy and freedom that comes from being our true selves. So, what's the way out? It starts with honesty. Honesty with ourselves, first and foremost, acknowledging that we're not fooling anyone, least of all ourselves. And then, it's about finding the courage to take off the mask, one small step at a time. Chapter 3, the unaware and exposed. And then we come to the third type, the unaware and exposed. This is the person who is completely oblivious to their own dullness, their impact on others, their areas for growth. They are, in a word, clueless. And this, my friends, is a dangerous place to be. You see, the unaware and exposed individual walks through the world with a certain level of confidence that can be both baffling and frustrating to those around them. They might be convinced of their own intelligence, charm, or wit, while everyone else is left wondering, do they not see what we see? Here's the heartbreaking truth. Without awareness, there can be no change. This type often remains stuck in a cycle of repeating the same mistakes, hurting the same people, and wondering why life seems to keep throwing them the same challenges. They lack the self-awareness to connect the dots, to see their role in their own struggles. Now, it's important to remember that none of us are immune to periods of unawareness. We all have blind spots, but for some, this lack of self-awareness becomes a defining characteristic. It impacts their relationships, their careers, their overall well-being. So what can we do when we encounter someone who falls into this category. It's tricky. Direct confrontation often leads to defensiveness and denial. Sometimes the best we can do is set boundaries, protect our own energy, and hope that, at some point, a flicker of awareness might break through. So, what's the key lesson here? It all comes back to awareness. Awareness is the foundation of growth, the catalyst for change, the bridge to deeper connection. If you're aware of your flaws and you know others see them too, you have a chance to improve. You have the opportunity to do the work, to show up differently, to become a better version of yourself. But the deeper the unawareness, the harder it is to break free. It's like being trapped in a dark room, bumping into the same furniture, never realizing that there's a light switch just within reach. My hope is that by understanding these different types of unawareness, we can shine a light on our own blind spots, cultivate greater self-compassion, and encourage those around us to do the same.